בחיי הכל אתה רב ומושיע, מבקר חיים בחסד, בחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו משני עפר, מחלמך בעל גבורות, ומג'ול מלך, מלך דוד ומחייל, ומציע ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני לחיי הכל.
Please be seated.
Not yet.
No, we're going
to continue standing.
A little bit more, just one more.
Sorry. We continue with the singing of the Vishamru on page
Not yet.
250.
We're at the Kedusha.
Yeah, we're on, no, you're good, you're good. We're on page 248, we got one more. We're going to get some, we're going to do some more of
Okay.
the Kadesh.
לקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב ביד נביאך, וקרא זה ואמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוך הארץ כבודו אדיר אדירנו אדוני אדוננו מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ ברוך כבוד אדוני במקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. We continue with the singing of Vishamru on page 250.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
We continue on page 253. Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished? Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat abide. Please join me. Help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time, contain the retreat of the hours and days from the grasp of frantic life. Let me learn to pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into a quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat abide. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. I am now honored to call up my mom and my Aunt Jen to lead us in the prayers beginning on page 255.
On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer to life, to peace, and to joy. May we find true rest, holiness in our deeds, worth in our study of Torah. Let us feed on the love of goodness. Let us drink from the love of goodness. Restrain our thirst for excess and cleanse our hearts to serve life well. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer in life, in peace, and in joy.
We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God and the God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O good one, whose mercies never end, O compassionate one, whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in you. Our God, O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai, your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving.
Amen.
We now take a moment for our personal and silent prayer.
לרצון אמרי יהיו לרצון אמרי ויגל ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי וגואלי. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart be acceptable before you. Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, ve'imeru,
We now come to our Torah service, Seder Kriyat HaTorah LeShabbat. You can find the Torah service beginning on page 362. Page 362.
Ein kamocha va'elohim Adonai, ve'ein kema'asecha, malchutecha malchut kol olamim, umemshaltecha bechol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai imlach le'olam v'ad. Adonai oz le'amo yitein, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Av harachamim heitiva v'yitzoncha et Zion, timne chomot Yerushalayim, timne chomot Yerushalayim. Ki v'cha levad batachnu, melech elam v'nisa adon olamim.
To now open the Aron HaKodesh, the Holy Ark, we are delighted to call upon Jackson and Hannah Schroeder, dear family friends, called Framley, I believe. Did I pronounce that right? Framley, to pass the Torah through the generations. We are honored to call upon Sharon and Andy Gersh, Leo's parents, and of course Leo Gersh, our bar mitzvah. After our processional with the Torah, we are honored to help us undress the Torah scroll, Howard Gersh, Leo's uncle. We now invite the entire congregation to please rise before the open ark.
שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד.
Well, Leo, you have been leading us so wonderfully today in Jewish prayer and worship. You know, some of the prayers you've been leading are thousands of years old. You're now getting ready to do something that Jewish people have also been doing for millennia, for thousands of years. Chanting, reading from the Torah, the 5 books of Moses, the embodiment of Jewish wisdom, Jewish history, Jewish teaching. It's comprised of the books of Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. We're not going to ask you to read all those books today, Leo. You know you got a wonderful portion right at the beginning of Genesis. Leo, in becoming a bar mitzvah, a son of the commandment, you're now taking your place among the Jewish people in what we call being part of the Shashelet HaKabbalah. Shashelet HaKabbalah means the chain of Jewish tradition. This loving chain of tradition extends thousands of years into our past. It will extend thousands of years into our future, I am confident, because of you as the newest and the strongest link in the chain of Jewish tradition. So, Leo, this Torah comes to you Lador Vador, from generation to generation, with the love and the support and the guidance of your family. It comes with the love and support of your grandparents of blessed memory, Alan and Sandy Gersh, who are not with us today in body, but they are very much with us today in spirit. This Torah comes to you from them. And it also comes to you with the love and guidance of your father. Set that down. It comes with the love and support of your mom. Now finally rest in your arms.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shema Gadol Adonai Iti Uneromema Shema Yachtav Lecha Adonai HaGedula VeHaGevura VeHaTiferet VeHaNetzach VeHaHod Ki Chol Bashamayim Uvaretz Ki Chol Bashamayim Uvaretz Lecha Adonai HaMamlacha VeAmid Naaseh Lechol Rosh Romemu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu, Vehishtachavu, Vehishtachavu, Lehar Kodsho, Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב ולא ילמדו עוד מלחמה לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב ולא ילמדו עוד מלחמה לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב ולא ילמדו עוד מלחמה לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב ולא ילמדו עוד מלחמה לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב ולא ילמדו עוד מלחמה לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב ולא ילמדו עוד מלחמה לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב ולא ילמדו עוד מלחמה לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב ולא ילמדו עוד מלחמה לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב ולא ילמדו עוד מלחמה לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב ולא ילמדו עוד מלחמה לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב ולא ילמדו עוד מלחמה לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב ולא ילמדו עוד מלחמה.
Ready for you. So yeah, you got the bottom part, I got the top. You good? Okay, great. And please be seated, everybody. So I'm going to get this set up. Now, if you'll look for your intro, your Torah intro, while I get this set up. Let's see if we can put that under the intro we did. Is it over? Haftarah, yeah, so Torah looks like it's right behind it. There we go. Okay. So let me get this set up. Okay. Great. Wonderful. So if you'll say that right now, Lisa. Great.
This week's Torah portion comes from the book of Genesis. It tells the story of the Tower of Babel. Noah's descendants founded a city and decided to build a tower that would reach the sky. During the construction of the tower, God saw what the humans were doing and had other plans for them. You can find the Torah portion in the blue commentary on page 69 and in the green women's commentary, Torah commentary on page 49.
So if the blue book is before you, that's page 69. If you have the green women's Torah commentary, that's page 49. Page 69 and 49. And while you are finding that, just want to mention that in Judaism, of course, it is an honor to be called to the Torah to chant as Leo is about to do as bar mitzvah. It's also an honor to be called to the Torah to say blessings before and after each chanting. Blessings, thanking God for the gift, the wisdom of Torah, of teaching. That honor is called an aliyah. Aliyah literally means going up. We have 3 aliyot this morning. For our first aliyah, I am honored to call upon Leo's brother, Owen Gersh.
יעמוד ברוך שי בן אלתר ברך ראשון.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Barach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bahar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'na'atan Lanu et Torato Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayhi chol haaretz safa echat udvarim achadim. Vayhi benosam mikedem vayimseu vika be'eretz shinar vayeshvu sham. Vayomeru ish el re'ehu hava nil bena levanim B'ni srefa li srefa Vathi lahem halvena le'aven V'cha chemar Haya lahem lachomer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher natan lanu torat emet V'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Thank you, Owen. For our second, I should move back over to the microphone here. Why don't you hold this? For our second Aliyah this morning, we are honored to call upon Leo's cousin, Evan Gersh.
Ya'amod Evan Kadosh Ben Hershel Fishel Sheni.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Barach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amin V'natan lanu et torato Baruch atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Vayomeru hava nivne lanu ir umigdal berosho vashamayim v'na'aseh lanu shem pen nafut al penei chol haaretz vayered Adonai lirot et ha'ir ve'et hamigdal asher banu b'nei ha'adam vayomer Adonai Hein am echat v'safa echat lechulam v'zechahilam la'asot ve'ata lo yibatzer mechem kol asher yazmu la'asot.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher natan lanu torat emet V'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Well done. Thank you. For our third and final Aliyah this morning, we are so very honored to officially call as Bar Mitzvah Leo Gersh.
Ya'amod, 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 Habachur Habar Mitzvah, Ariona Ben Alter Borach, Aliyah Shlishi.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Barach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim V'na'atan lanu et Torato Baruch Atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Hava nedada v'navla sham sefatam Asher lo yishmeu ish sefat re'ehu Vayafet Adonai otam misham al panei chol haaretz Vayachtilu livnot ha'ir. Al kain kara shema Bavel Kisham Balal Adonai Sifat Kol Haaretz Umisham Hefitzam Adonai Al Panei Kol Haaretz. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
This is, yes, you guys knew it. This is one of those moments, absolutely. This is what we like to call a Simon Tov and Mazel Tov moment. We'd like to have the immediate family come on over, stand with Leo. This is the highlight of becoming a bar mitzvah. And Leo, you did it so wonderfully. So it is a good sign and good fortune that we are all together celebrating this very special, happy occasion. Please join us in Simon Tov and Mazel Tov.
Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yehelanu. Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yehelanu, 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 Ulecha Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecha Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecha Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecha Yisrael.
Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, everybody. If you'd like to have a seat for a little bit, we'll do a prayer. Well, with the Torah before us, it's a Jewish tradition to say special prayers. In this case, prayers of healing for people that we know who are sick or injured, people who are in need of a healing of body and a healing of spirit. We invite you to please join us in this Misha Berach prayer of healing. If you know it, it's in the middle of page 371, middle of 371 in our prayer book.
Shebeirach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. And let us say, Amen.
At this time, we invite you to offer the names of people you know who are in need of healing. We'll go around the sanctuary. Please just raise your hand and call out their name. Yes, Howard.
Gersh, David Torby, Barbie O'Leary, and Jan.
Yes, thank you. Please.
Adrian.
Tina Cho and River Hawkins.
Carolyn. George.
Gene Gray.
Well, we think of all of them. I'm sorry, was your hand up? Please.
Carol Perry, Mara Herbold.
Yes, yes, we think of them. And as we think of them in our hearts, we also open our hearts to the folks listed on our Misha Berach page on the inside of our Shabbat leaflet. We pray for all these temple members who are in need of healing, all these family members in need of healing, and all these friends and co-workers of our community that are in need of healing, as we now continue our prayer healing together.
Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha la'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We pray they are all healed. Well, Leo again chanted the Torah so wonderfully. He's getting ready to chant the Haftarah portion from the prophetical books of the Jewish Bible. Before he does so, it is a Jewish tradition to raise the Torah high for all to see. The words that were chanted so beautifully. To lift the Torah, we are honored to call upon Leo's dad, Andy Gersh, and to dress the Torah, we are honored to call upon Scott Silverman, dear family friend. Okay, Andy, I'm just getting this ready for you. Let's put this up here. Oh, please rise, everybody. Please rise.
Please rise. V'zot ha'Torah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Morasha kehilat Yaakov, Morasha kehilat Yaakov, Morasha kehilat Yaakov. Torah, tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. You may be seated.
This week's Haftarah portion comes from the book of Isaiah. This week's Haftarah portion comes from the book of Isaiah. In it, the prophet Isaiah comforts the Jewish people of the day who had been exiled from Israel. He speaks of God's compassion and kindness for the exiles and promises them peace and return. You can find the Haftarah portion on page 86 in your blue Torah commentary, beginning on verse 7. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim beratzav v'divrehem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai Chabocher b'Torah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Yisrael amo uv'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. Berega katon azavtich uvrachamim gedolim akadzech beshetzef ketzef histarti fanai rega mimech ubchesed odam richamtich amar go'alech Adonai ki me Noach zot li asher nishbati me'avor me Noach od al haaretz kain nishbati mikzof alayim umig arbach ki hacharim yamushu v'hagvaot tamutena v'hazdi me'itech lo yamush uvrit shalomit lo tamut amar merachamech Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzur kol haolamim tzadik bechol hadorot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer ve'oseh ha'medaber u'mekayem shekol devarav emet v'tzedek al ha-Torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'nevi'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limnucha lechavod ultifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach umevarchim otach yitbarach shimcha befi kol hai tamid leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shemo
Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen.
Yes, another one of those moments. You guys have it? Oh, that was great, Leo. That was great. Thank you. We are now going to return the Torah to the Ark. We turn to page 374, page 374. And we're again honored to call upon Hannah and Jackson Schroeder, dear family. And as they come on up and as we return the Torah, we invite you to please rise.
Eitz Chaim hi lama chazikim ba v'tom cheha me'ushar derachea darchei na'am v'chol netivoteha Shalom Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chadesh, Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem.
Please be seated, everybody. Thank you, guys. All right, sir, time for your speech. Want to get a sip of water? Of course. Okay, doing great. So here's your speech back there. Okay, so take it nice and slow, okay? It's a great speech.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you to everyone for being here who've come from near or far, as well as all the people who are watching this service from home via live stream. I appreciate you. Have you ever faced competition? If you know me, then you know that I'm a competitive athlete. I've faced all types of competition in the past. I've faced good players, tall players, short players, and bad players. I specifically remember during a soccer tournament, we played against a team with giant players. Some of these players were over 6 feet tall and looked like adults. Some even had facial hair. Almost everyone on my team thought they'd demolish us and that we were gonna lose big. We felt bullied just by their appearance. In the beginning half of the game, we were playing clumsy because we were all scared. But as the game went on, we realized that these players weren't really as good as us. We scored one goal, and then another, and another, and we quickly realized their height didn't determine how good they were. We played fair, we didn't play dirty, and even though we were the underdogs, we ended up winning the game 4-1. That experience reminds me of this week's Torah portion, which is about the Tower of Babel. The Tower of Babel is a story about creativity, resourcefulness, selfishness, seeking fame, and competition. If you're not too familiar with this story, this is how it goes. Between the years 3500 and 3000 BCE, after the Great Flood, Noah's descendants were looking for a place to civilize and make home. They founded a city called Shinar, which is in modern-day Iraq. Shinar grew and developed and eventually had many residents. After some time, the people of Shinar wanted to build a tower so tall that it would reach the heavens. This tower would represent the humans' ability to build, their creativity, their resourcefulness, and this man-made structure would represent something the humans could be proud of. It is written in the Torah that the people said, "Come, let us build a city with a tower that reaches the sky so we can make a name for ourselves." The tower became taller and taller. God saw what the people had created and became concerned. God says in the Torah, "If as one people with one language for all, this is how they have begun to act, then nothing that they may propose to do will be out of their reach." I wonder if God felt insecure and also a bit of competition. In any case, to deter the people from accomplishing this incredible feat, God dispersed the humans across the planet and gave them all different languages. God thought that this action would stop the completion of the tower and any other structures in the future. I hope you found that story to be interesting because I did. The part of the story that I found most appealing was when God perhaps felt some competition between himself and the builders of the tower. As an athlete who has been playing sports since before I can remember, I felt a connection between God and myself. That might sound arrogant, but in this case, I too have felt the competitive spirit get the best of me. While I've never spread civilizations across land, nor gave everyone different languages, I have felt frustrated by teammates, coaches, missed kicks, competition. On the surface of this biblical story, it may seem as though God was acting like an athlete intent on beating the competition by any means necessary. It may seem like God behaved selfishly, almost like a poor sport, almost as if God didn't know how to take a loss, so co-found the other team's language so they can't communicate with each other, almost like the spiritual equivalent of God taking his ball and going home. As a competitive athlete, I've been frustrated by competition in the past, yet I always play with integrity no matter how much we might be losing by. It is easier to cheat and easier to get frustrated than lash out, but my parents always told me that I have a moral compass. A moral compass makes cheating and lashing out difficult. It was God's moral compass, according to Jewish tradition, that guided the decision to put an end to the building of the tower. It's not that God was super competitive and would do whatever it took to beat his opponent. No, God was concerned that the builders of the tower were so ruthless in their pursuit, so focused on winning their goal at cost, and so focused on making a name for themselves that they all lost sight in what was most important, the value of human life. Ancient Jewish interpreters of the Torah taught that as the tower grew in height, it took 1 year to get the bricks from the base to the upper stories. So bricks became more precious than human life. When a brick slipped and fell, the people wept, but when a worker fell and died, nobody paid attention. They didn't cry and they didn't stop their work. They kept building no matter the cost of human life. They were so focused on making a name for themselves by building the tower that they took their eye off the ball and what was more important. In God's eyes, it was not important to build a famous name for oneself, but to live in a way that protected others and cared for others, not focusing on oneself selfishly, but focusing on others generously. That is why God put an end to the Tower of Babel, according to Jewish tradition, and maybe there's a lesson there for all of us. For us to want to be good people, for us to build a good name, whether or not it becomes famous. As a Jewish person that has a bar or bat mitzvah, we take on the responsibility of performing an actual mitzvah. A mitzvah is a helpful act. I have chosen to make a donation to Chef Jose Andres and the helpful staff at World Central Kitchen. World Central Kitchen is a non-profit, non-governmental organization devoted to providing meals in the wake of natural disasters. They've provided countless meals for countless desperate and hungry people since 2010. I felt a connection to this program because I chose to be in a culinary class for the past 2 years. My classmates and I cook food for the teachers and other staff members at my middle school, so in a way, I felt connected to what Chef Andres has been doing. At this point, I wanted to thank several people. First, Rabbi Rick Schechter, Cantor Alyssa Rosenbaum, Education Director Carolyn Moore-Musso, Dr. Deborah Cohn, and all my religious school teachers and the entire staff at Temple Sinai. I couldn't have done this without your guidance and teachings. Next, I'd like to thank my friends and family that are present in the temple or here via live stream for their support. Mostly, I'd like to thank my mom, dad, and brother that have guided me through this bar mitzvah journey. These past years at Temple Sinai, I've learned so much, made many memories, and overall had a great time. Thanks again, everybody. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom. Yes, indeed. A double one of these for that very thoughtful and wise and kind teaching. Thank you, Leo. We want to thank you for making this day so special. We know your parents are so very proud and would like to share with you what's in their heart right now. So Sharon, Andy, we'd be honored.
Hey, buddy.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
You've done very well today.
Thanks.
Okay. Leo, thank you for leading us in a beautiful ceremony. I know when we have our first quiet moment together after this, that I will tell you how great you did, and you will tell me that you disagree. You'll point out all the mistakes you made. It's a pattern we've traced so many times before. I tell you you did great, and you tell me you didn't. Why is that? The answer is competition. You talked about competition with others and the seeming competition between God and people in your Devar Torah. But there is another form of competition, and that is competition with yourself. You yourself will be the hardest opponent you ever face. I'm going to say that again. You yourself will be the hardest component you ever face. No cap, as your generation likes to say to emphasize things. Everyone in this room can relate a story in which they competed with themselves. Your self-competitor is the voice in your head, the one that tells you that you're not enough. You're not smart enough, you're not thin enough, you're not strong enough. It's tough to hear that voice. That competitor likes to smack talk and give you self-doubt. How can you stop it? How can you ignore that inner dialogue and not let it break you down? My answer is faith. Faith is believing in something you can't see or quantify. And faith is like the muscles in your legs. The more you use it, the stronger it gets and the farther it will carry you. I am not Jewish. I was raised in a Lutheran Christian home. Before I married Andy, we discussed what religion we would like to raise our children. And I said, all I want is my children to grow up to have faith in God. A Christian path or a Jewish path didn't matter as long as in the end they believed in God. Why is this important to me? Because even in the darkest moments of your life, it will mean you'll know you're not alone. That even when your most fierce competitor, the voice in your head, is telling you that you're not good enough, you'll have a teammate named God. God does not care that you made mistakes today. God is not judging your worth based on your bar mitzvah. This isn't a final exam of how good of a Jew you are. This is the event that marks the beginning of your adult Jewish life. There will always be mistakes. There will always be dark, messy moments. No mud, no lotus. You can't grow a beautiful flower without mud. You can't learn without mistakes. You have to kick 1,000 balls straight before you can kick and bend it like Beckham. Believing that eventually a flower will grow and believing that eventually your corner kick will bend into the goal is having faith. Believing in something is having faith. It's having hope. As Ted Lasso says, I believe in hope. I believe and believe. Leo, I'm very proud of your faith, your hope, your belief, and I look forward to seeing where it carries you. I love you.
Love you too. Good job. I love you too. No.
My cup runneth over. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Hello, hello. So, Leo and I share quite a bit. We love telling each other naughty jokes by leaning in and making our voices so quiet that only the other one can hear it. We share a love of the old 7-iron on the golf course. We share glances from the soccer pitch after he scored a goal or has made a heroic save. We also share a sweet tooth, a love of Little Tokyo, creating art, and wearing my t-shirts. One of the more special things we share is an appreciation for a Sunday radio show called Breakfast with the Beatles. On Sundays, from 10 a.m. to noon, the Fab Four are on display in all their glory. Breakfast with the Beatles goes deep, playing some of their more rare songs, or truth be told, any song in the Beatles canon. Even Ringo's solo projects are given airtime. When I would drive Leo to Hebrew school on Sundays, we always listened to the radio. Sometimes we talk over the music, or sometimes we're quiet, but the Beatles are always there. It's happened so much that now, when I hear a Beatles song during my regular day, I think of Leo, and what a privilege that is. I hear the brilliance, and I think of Leo. I hear the raw talent, and I think of Leo. I hear that X factor, and I think of Leo. It doesn't take too much effort to see the similarities between Leo Gersh and the Beatles. Both know the value in practicing until perfection. Both have wisdom and sophistication. Both inspire those around them. Both are witty, determined, intense, and have a jaw-dropping sense of humor. Most notably, though, are that the Beatles and Leo are legendary. Going forward, my hope for Leo is to approach his life like the Beatles approached their legacy, to touch the emotions of others, to break ground with that ferocious passion, and to continue to light that fuse of potential, and most importantly, to stay in harmony with your friends and family. There will be countless challenges you face, Leo, in your life going forward. You'll have schooling, relationships, careers. You'll face adversity, opposing teams, and so many unknowns that it is impossible to state them all here from the Bema. But if Leo could take only one lesson from the teachings of John, Paul, George, and Ringo, it's as simple as 5 words. All you need is love. We love you. Always will. Always have. We're so unbelievably proud of your accomplishments and who you've become, that without a doubt, we are easily your biggest fans. Mazel tov. Love you so much.
Love you too.
Thank you so much, Andy and Sharon, for such moving and wise, thoughtful message. I want to encourage you to I know you've got a printout of that, to share that with Leo, to give that to Leo, and for Leo, for you from time to time to, again, revisit the wonderful messages from both your parents. Really, very powerful and true. I'm reminded in 5 years of rabbinical school, graduate school, I'm still paying off student loans to this day, 25 years later. And the greatest words of wisdom I ever studied in rabbinical school was from one of my teachers, Rabbi Julie Schwartz, and she told us all to make wonderful mistakes. Make wonderful mistakes. And as your mom said, that's how we learn, that's how we grow. And as your dad, quoting the Beatles, well, there's nothing more I can say after the Beatles. Love them too. Thank you again. And Leo Cantor and I are so deeply honored to be with you, to be with your family, your friends today. I know everyone in the sanctuary is so honored, everyone watching on the live stream at home who weren't able to travel here today, so deeply honored to celebrate with you. This was such an awesome, spectacular experience. Leo, this morning you led a Jewish community that stretches across North America, literally, and you did it. You did it fabulously. So thank you for making this so special. Leo, I am inspired. That was the word that your dad used. I am inspired by what you did here and what you taught us here today. And also I'm inspired by your approach to athletics and playing soccer that you talked about in your Torah, your wise words of Torah. I imagine we all were inspired by the integrity that you bring to sports and the integrity you bring to all that you do. That was on display here with the thoughtfulness and the graciousness and the dedication of your bar mitzvah ceremony. It is so great to see, Leo. You got me thinking. You got me thinking about how playing soccer is a lot like being a bar mitzvah and living a Jewish life. How so, you might ask? Well, you know, to be good at soccer or to be a good swimmer or a good golfer, which you also enjoy doing, to get good at any athletic activity, it does take practice, practice, and more practice. What I know about soccer, which is really little, but from what I know about soccer from watching my kids play years ago and from watching the FIFA World Cup when it comes around, is that it's important to have good ball control, speed and agility, dribbling and passing ability, and stamina and shooting and kicking skills. And these things only come through practice. Well, the same is true of becoming a bar mitzvah. Leo, you practiced reading Hebrew. You learned and practiced chanting your Torah and Haftarah portions with those special melodies and those musical notes called tropes. With practice, you learned different sets of melodies. And when you chanted Torah, you did it all with 0 vowels, 0 trope marks in the Torah scroll. That is not easy to do. And you practiced your prayers and your teachings about this week's Torah portion. You did it all marvelously. And like having the skills of a good soccer player, now as a bar mitzvah, with the skills you've acquired through hard work and practice, Leo, you can now go anywhere in the world. I mean, anywhere in the world where there's a synagogue or a temple, and you can participate in the service. You can lead parts of the service. So for instance, when you travel to Japan to see the cherry blossoms there and sightsee all over, you could check out a Japanese synagogue and participate in that service halfway around the world. That is, if they're leading it in Hebrew or in English. I don't know how your Japanese is. How's your Japanese? So-so? What's the word for, well, if somebody knows the word in Japanese for so-so. In Hebrew, it's kaka-kaka, right? Well, that is the power of what you've acquired in becoming a bar mitzvah, Leo. To live a Jewish life is very much a practice. And like most valuable things in life, it benefits from regular practice. Leo, may you continue to learn and practice Judaism throughout your life. May it enrich you with joy and with meaning and the excellent values that you demonstrate on the sports field and that you demonstrate to all of us in the way that you act. And like soccer, Leo, Judaism itself is a team sport. It's been a team sport for thousands of years. As in soccer, a person really can't do Judaism well by himself or herself. Just think about what this service would be like if after all your hard work, Leo, you stood up here and it was just you and Cantor and me. Today wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the wonderful celebration that we're all sharing in together with your family and with your friends and the temple community in person and throughout North America on the live stream. You know, traditionally in Judaism, there are certain prayers that we can't even say unless there are 10 people in the room. We call it a minyan, 10 people, sort of like 11 soccer players on the field per team. Judaism almost always takes place with a group, with a community. You like the holiday of Hanukkah? You do, it's a good one of my favorites too. Well, imagine Hanukkah without other people. There's nobody there with you to celebrate, no family, no friends, all alone with a menorah, And the latkes can't even play dreidel because nobody else is there to play with. That wouldn't be much of a Hanukkah. Wouldn't be much of any other Jewish holiday or celebration without other people. Judaism is really only lived in practice and community, just like soccer. Leo, may you continue to be an active part of the Jewish community and our temple community. May you continue to participate on the team. You are a star, and we would love to have you always part of the team. And there's one final, very important way that being Jewish is a lot like playing soccer. Perhaps it's the most important way, Leo. In sports and in religious and spiritual life, we're serving something bigger than ourselves, as your mom mentioned. We're serving something bigger than ourselves. It's bigger than us. When you're on the field in a game, you're not just playing for yourself, you're playing for the team that you're a part of. The win isn't just for you. The win isn't just for you. The victory goes to everybody that's a part of it. It transcends, it goes beyond any one individual, no matter how much of a superstar athlete they may be. So too in Judaism and in Christianity and in Islam and in Hinduism and other religions, religious and spiritual people are serving something bigger, like God and their communities and the larger world itself. In Judaism, everyone is asked to help make the world a better place. If people are hungry, we can help feed them like you did for your Mitzvah project. If someone is hurting, we can try to heal them. If people are in need, we can help them, just as you did, Leo, with your extremely helpful Mitzvah project with World Central Kitchen and Chef Andres, and in the cooking that you do for the folks at your middle school. You're serving something bigger, and you're helping to make our world a better place. And that's what it's all about. Leo, you are such a kind and thoughtful and gracious and generous and respectful and helpful young man. That is what it means to be a bar mitzvah, a son of the commandment. And that is who you are, Leo. May you continue to be a great blessing to the world and to all of us. Mazel tov. Mazel tov to you. Mazel tov to your wonderful family. And Leo, at this time, Cantor Alyssa and I would be honored to share with you the most precious blessing of the Jewish people, God's blessing found in the Torah. We invite you to join us at the Aron HaKodesh, the Holy Ark. Please rise, everybody.
Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
Leo, may God bless you. May God protect you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May the light of God's love, God's wisdom shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom shalom.
Leo, may God give you and your family the most precious blessing of all, the blessing of shalom, which is peace and its wholeness, and it is fulfillment in every way. And together we all say, Amen. Please be seated, everybody. Well, Leo, leaders of our congregation would like to make a very special presentation to you now in honor of your becoming a bar mitzvah. I'm honored to begin calling upon a member of our Temple Sinai Board of Directors, Mr. Dave Quast.
Leo, Mazel Tov. You did a great job. On behalf of the Temple Sinai Board, I'm honored to present you with a few gifts today. Let me get them out here. First is a certificate commemorating that on this day you became a bar mitzvah, leading us in worship and chanting from our sacred texts. Very nice, congratulations. Next, we have a gift certificate from the National Federation of Temple Youth that you can use toward a trip to Israel with other Jewish teens during your high school years. And finally, your very own copy of the Torah commentary. We hope that as you continue your Jewish learning, the wisdom of the Torah and these teachings will bring you a life filled with purpose and strengthen your bond with the Jewish people. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you, Dave. And representing our Temple Sisterhood, the Women of Reformed Judaism, we are honored to call upon Ellen Strauss.
Let's see here. Nope, I got it. Mazel Tov. It was really, really, really a pleasure to witness your becoming a bar mitzvah. And on behalf of the sisterhood, I'd like to give you this mezuzah. Small, but very powerful. Please feel free to put it on the doorpost at your home and take it with you to college, which I know is a little way off, but you'll get there. For you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ellen. And on behalf of our Temple Brotherhood, the men's group of Temple Sinai, I'm honored to call upon George Lowe.
Congratulations, Leo. You've made everyone very proud today. And it is my honor to present you on behalf of Brotherhood with this Kiddush cup. May it overflow with joy and as you use it and drink grape juice and one day wine. I hope that you will remember this day and all of the joy that you brought to us. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, George. Thank you so very much. Yeah, we can put that down here, Leo, if you'd like. Well, and I have a surprise from your religious school classmates. On behalf of your religious school classmates, hey, speaking of Hanukkah, here is a Chanukiah, a menorah with your name on it and today's date from your B'nai Mitzvah class. All your classmates, I know, were so fortunate to have you in class with them, and they really loved having you in religious school with them. So this is on behalf of your religious school classmates. So enjoy. And, all right, you got some goodies. And you've been working hard. What do you think? You want to take a little breather, and Cantor and I will do some more prayers. We'll finish out the service, and then we'll all celebrate in just a moment in the social hall.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we can leave all that there if you'd like.
Thank you.
You are most welcome. You are most welcome. Well, we turn now, back in our prayer book, we come to our concluding prayers. We turn to page 586. Page 586, we come to the Adoration Prayer Aleinu. We're in the middle of the page, and it's traditional to rise for this prayer before the open ark. The open ark is a symbol of God's presence in our lives.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המנם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
please be seated, everybody.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Well, Jewish worship is never complete, and until we think of those people that we've loved and lost, who've passed away, but they remain very much with us in our hearts, our minds, and our souls as an eternal blessing and presence. This Shabbat, we remember and we say Kaddish for Timothy Murphy and Stephen Snitzer, Anita Honeybar, Joan Kafel Ettlinger, Janet Jeffries, Jennifer Woody, Nancy Lord, Barbara Bolter, Sandra Gainan, Charlotte Hellman, Sylvia Miller, Karen Ness, Fred Michaels, Linda Luna, Dr. C. Harold Cohn, Barbara Abraham, and Ernestine Erkin. And for those who are observing Yahrzeit, the anniversary of the death of a loved one commemorated this week, we remember Bertha Aberman, Annette Glazer, Marvin Frankel, Henry Golden, James Carlson Jr., Arthur Greenbaum, Myra Shaskin, Rebecca Kaufman, Irene Wax, Rebecca Nichols, Delia Drace, Eleanor Sabbath Utkoff, Yehezkiel Dory, Anita Kokia, Joseph Datloff, Irving Blair, Sam Eggerman, Sid Green, Jacob Gelbert, Newton Gelbert, Arthur Horowitz, Frida Lippener, Joseph Lovey, and Ellie Molho. Is there anybody who's mourning a loss whose name was not mentioned? And if so, we invite you to please mention their name now. Well, we now turn to page 598 in our prayer book, page 598. We thank God that all the folks mentioned were here on this earth with their families and friends. We rise together for the Kaddish prayer, page 598. Together we pray, Yitkadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yalma divarach Hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon v'yomechon, u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kari v'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam ul'olmei almaya. Yitparach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitmamam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudesha berichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, Da'amiran bi'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn. May we be a source of comfort to all who are bereaved. Together we say, Amen. And please be seated, everybody.
We like to conclude our Kaddish prayer with Oseh Shalom, a prayer for peace. Oseh Shalom, Shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom, Shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom, Dave.
So we have many wonderful events coming up at Temple Sinai, which you can read about on the back of your Shabbat leaflet or in the weekly TSG email. Today's flowers are presented by Sharon and Andy Gersh in honor of their son Leo's bar mitzvah. Wayne Kaufman and Suzanne Roberts for the art side of Wayne's mother, Rebecca Kaufman. Ann Ransford for the art side of her mother, Delia Dreiss. Carol Cornell for the art side of her mother, Annette Glazer. And Lori Kleinberg for the art side of her mother, Irene Wax. At the conclusion of the service, everyone is invited to join us in the social hall for refreshments and snacks hosted by the Gersh family. And for everyone's health and safety, please keep your masks on except for when you're eating. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Dave.
We're going to turn now for our closing song to page 626 for Ein Kelohenu.
And please rise, everybody. Page 626.
Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Micheloheinu, Michadonenu, Michemalkeinu, Michemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. That was wonderful. That was so great. Yes, yes. You were just, this was so wonderful. Just love the spirit of so powerful. Oh, me too. We'll talk more about that. Yeah.
I was so full of
Oh, good stuff. Yeah. Wise man. Wise man. Yeah. Great, great book. Great, everything. Oh, you're Lisa.
Thanks for being along for the ride.
I wasn't sure how you put this needed.
It's a muscle memory, right?
Yeah.
But that's impressive. Not everybody has that muscle memory. That's
That's true.
show choir days. Show choir
I have seen people. I have seen people who would get up and like feel like they're good, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, and they forget how to go. So yeah.
This is so inspiring. This is such a great celebration.
I feel like yeah. You did a really great job. Yeah. You did really, really
Well, let's go celebrate, as you were saying. So, relief is, let's go celebrate. Enjoy the day. So yeah, we'll go in the social hall, we'll do Kiddush and Motzi. Leo, we'd love to have you stand with Cantor, maybe we can get some pictures with this, but you holding your Kiddush cup and leading, Cantor will lead it, but we'll do Great Brihag Offering, so we can set that down if you want. Let's take this in, and I think it's clean. I'm sure it's clean. Yeah, it's pretty thick, huh?
Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. I dare say it might hold up really well over time, too. Mine from my bat mitzvah did not, or has not, so it's not,
Yes.
tarnished, but,
Yeah, mine too.
Oh,
Mine
just talk
too.
about the state of mind.
All right, yeah, so, and by the way, isn't that cool?
That's very cool.
Yeah, I love the colors. That's a nice one. That's a nice one. So that's a gift from your classmates. So yeah, why don't we head in there? We'll pour some grape juice in there, and
Okay.
last thing